Morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, I will be covering the rain and snow across parts of California and the Pacific Southwestern states through today into tonight. Then our next big storm takes shape with a severe weather outbreak and a northeast snowstorm going into this weekend and into early next week, followed by an active weather pattern with more rain and snow chances through early March. We're down to 4 days now for my 1 year of being on YouTube, which is on Wednesday, March 1st of 2023. So if you would like to subscribe to the YouTube channel and support the channel, hit the subscribe button down below to get all of my daily weather forecast updates each and every morning at 9 a.m. and to support the channel in general. We're approaching 23,000 subscribers. Thanks to all of the new subscribers out there. Definitely much appreciated. But looking out the door this morning, it is cold up here across southern Canada and the northern United States, especially where we have that deeper snowpack with a recent couple of snowstorms up here across these areas into Minnesota, the Dakotas, and then of course back to the north across portions of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, Canada here this morning. All that milder air is farther south and east across the southeast and the Gulf Coast region here this morning. In fact, looking at those wind chill values this morning, down near 20 to 25 below zero up here, especially into the Dakotas and western Minnesota this morning and farther north into southern Canada. But if you guys are with me on the video, don't forget to press the like button down below. It's the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible, so I definitely would appreciate if you hit the like button down below the video. But as we go here through the day today, we have that stronger trough digging down across portions of the Pacific Southwest into California here. That's going to be bringing that unsettled rain and snow opportunities to places like central and southern California and really across the Los Angeles region. We're going to see several more inches of rain going through the day today. This is noon time frame, and you see some moderate to heavy pockets of rain down here. And in the higher elevations, we're going to be seeing some heavier snow across the Sierra Nevada mountains. That will linger through the 9 o'clock hour here this evening as it pushes farther east, eventually entering into western Arizona and southern Nevada here. And then by the time we get to 6 a.m. on Sunday, February 26th, tomorrow, we will start to see more snow up towards the Flagstaff area here into Arizona, and then farther south toward the Phoenix area, we could be talking about some lighter to moderate pockets of rain going into Sunday morning. Looking at those rainfall totals here, the additional rainfall accumulation from today into the Sunday morning time frame, definitely a couple more inches of rain are likely down here into places like Santa Clarita, down toward Long Beach, and also the Los Angeles region, getting through the next 24 hours here, anywhere from 1 to 3 more inches of rain, and that stretches farther east with at least a half an inch of rain likely across western and central portions of Arizona as well. But that does raise the concern for some flash flooding down here getting through this weekend and Saturday into the Sunday morning time frame, especially across portions of coastal California into Southern California near Long Beach, getting up there toward Los Angeles, Santa Clarita, and the Santa Barbara area as well. So that is something to watch going through the weekend. But this same trough will start to move farther east through the Four Corners region and eventually arrive across the Great Plains on Sunday. And this is going to wreak a little bit more of havoc across the Great Plains as well. The Storm Prediction Center does still maintain that level 3 of 5 enhanced risk across western Oklahoma into the eastern panhandle of Texas here. This does include the El Reno area back toward Woodward, Kansas, and then farther south and westward towards the Wichita Falls, Texas area going through the day on Sunday. That slight risk actually extends farther north into central Kansas. This does include the Wichita near the Topeka, Kansas area, and then a marginal risk farther north and east from there, including much of the Kansas City metro area, and then on up into western and central portions of Missouri. Looking at the individual probabilities for severe weather, we have that 2 to 5% shading for tornadoes really centered on western Oklahoma, so definitely watch out for a few spin-up tornadoes here. But more of a damaging wind threat, I do think, will be the main mode of severe weather going through the day and actually the nighttime on Sunday. This will likely be an overnight threat, and that also does include the large hail potential as well, with that 15 to 30% shading, that slight to enhanced risk for hail, especially across across western Oklahoma. So tracking this 3 o'clock time frame tomorrow afternoon, this is about mid-afternoon, we still don't have any storms firing off. Our main piece of energy is still across Colorado and New Mexico with that cold front and dry line. But as it intercepts some of that warm, moist air from the south, we're going to start to see more individual supercells start to develop here across western Kansas, down into portions of western Oklahoma and the eastern Texas panhandle here. These are the storms we'll need to watch initially for tornadoes before the storms start to grow upscale very quickly. With the forcing along the dry line and cold front, we're going to see a squall line of showers and storms develop late evening on Sunday around 10 p.m. from portions of Omaha, Nebraska, all the way southward through Wichita, Kansas, the Oklahoma City metro area, and then down through the Wichita Falls area, as well as the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex later on Sunday evening. And then that will start to push eastward and outrun the better instability in an unfavorable time of day as well. 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday, we'll start to lose some of the better dynamics, at least the thermodynamics with this system as it pushes farther to the east. Looking at the setup here, we do have some impressive wind energy with this system. The mid-level jet here in the 500 millibar layer will be pretty formidable, rounding the base of this trough. This will be a negatively tilted trough. And usually with negatively tilted troughs, we see a lot more energy with these systems, and that's exactly what we do have. And looking briefly at the low-level jet as well, we do have some of that moving out of the south-southwest on up toward the north-northeast across the southern and central plains. And this does cause some concern for tornadic thunderstorms, at least initially, before those storms push eastward and grow upscale into a squall line, producing more of a damaging wind, large hail, and heavy rain threat as it pushes farther to the east. Again, know your safe place from tornadoes. Tornadoes are dangerous. Safe places are storm shelters and basements. If they are not available to you, if you don't have storm shelter or a basement, an interior room away from windows can also protect you as well. If you receive a tornado warning, take shelter immediately. Don't go outside and look for a tornado. A tornado could be rain wrapped, and you definitely don't want to be caught in that dangerous situation. So play it safe, use a storm shelter, use a basement or an interior room away from windows, and that will definitely save your life here in any tornado warning. But looking at the total rainfall accumulation going through late this weekend into early next week now on Sunday into Monday, we're going to see more of a heavy rain threat really centered on portions of the Midwest here from Iowa, western Illinois, down through portions of northern Missouri, eastern Kansas, into northern Oklahoma. Many of these zones will see 1 to 3 inches of rain. This is really centered on the Des Moines region back through Kansas City with the heaviest totals during that Sunday and Monday time frame. And that does concern me for a little bit of some flash flooding as well, at least a marginal risk for flash flooding potential on that Sunday and Monday time frame. And that's what we do see across central portions of Iowa, northwestern Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, into northeastern Kansas from Des Moines down toward the Kansas City region here, going in towards that late weekend and early next week time frame. But then as we go into Monday, we see that severe weather threat push farther east. It's a lower threat, but still a slight risk down here into southern and southeastern Indiana, southwestern Ohio, into central portions there of Kentucky. This does include the Louisville region, getting down into Lexington, Kentucky, getting through the day on Monday. And this will also be producing some heavier rain up here through the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic as well as we get into that Monday the 27th and Tuesday the 28th time frame to end the month of February. Definitely some rainfall totals around the Detroit area, Chicago, on up through Green Bay, Milwaukee, and the Cleveland area. We could be approaching 2 inches in a lot of these areas early next week. But as we go through that Monday evening time frame, we're going to have a lot more colder air to work with on the northern side of this system. So we're going to start to see more snow mixing in across the UP of Michigan, northern Wisconsin, getting down here through portions of the Great Lakes and into western New York State Monday evening. That will continue to push eastward with that colder air and some of that moisture that will be in the form of snowfall on Tuesday morning across much of portions of the Northeast. And then that will continue to push farther east as we get into Tuesday Tuesday evening around 6 o'clock. This will be encompassing more of Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then getting up farther north into Quebec, Canada as well. And looking at the snowfall totals, the potential snowfall amounts using the European forecast model here from Tuesday the 28th into Wednesday, March 1st timeframe, the European forecast model does paint a lot of areas seeing at least 3 to 6 inches of snow with some isolated higher totals here across New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, western portions of Maine, and also the I-95 corridor that hasn't seen a lot of snow here from Boston to New York City to Hartford, Connecticut. We definitely could be seeing some heavier snow here. And looking at the GFS model, it's a lot more aggressive with these snowfall totals here. And it is actually like that because it's a slower solution here. It has the snow sticking around longer across the Northeast. So we'll continue to refine this over the next couple of days. But I do think the European forecast model is the way I am actually swaying with the amounts on this system. So that is what we're watching. Probably more of a 3 to 6 inch snow across the Northeast. But looking at the longer range weather forecast from March 2nd through the 6th, that southeast ridge, again, will still be there. We've seen it all winter long. There's no reason to believe that's going to be backing down anytime soon. But out west, again, another trough will be digging down across the west coast into California during that March 2nd through the 6th time frame. And it's also going to be bringing more active weather, especially across the northern and eastern portions of the United States during that March 2nd and 6th time frame. And you see that strong subtropical jet down here across the southern plains, on up through the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast by the time we get into that first full week in March, centered around that Friday, March 3rd time frame. And that's going to be bringing some colder air from the north and west down, but also some warm, moist air over top of that here across the southeast. And we do have a storm system to talk about getting in towards that March 3rd time frame, or at least that first weekend in March. So looking at the ensemble guidance, the European ensemble guidance is all in on a storm system somewhere across the Ohio Valley or the southeast. The GEFS ensemble is also painting that picture as well, and the GEPS ensemble is also very similar to the ensembles before there as well. So looking at this, there is a storm likely, if not expected, getting into the first weekend in March, but the overall details of where we could see snow, icy mix, or even some severe weather and heavy rainfall is really far out to know for sure, but we definitely will be tracking it. What I'm thinking with the potential storm track during that March 2nd through 6th time frame is that a low pressure system will develop out here toward the Rockies, or at least the Four Corners region. It'll take more of a southeastern jog through central Texas and then take that left-hand turn somewhere across portions of the Tennessee Valley or the southeast. On the northwestern side of this track, we'll see more heavy snow and possibly an icy mix with more freezing rain and sleet. To the southeast of the track, we're going to see more heavy rain and possibly a severe weather side into that first week in March, especially the first weekend in March. So that is something we'll keep an eye on and refine with the forecast over the next couple of days. But then as we get past that time frame and towards the middle of March, now we're talking about the second and even the third week in March now, all eyes are on that sudden stratospheric warming event that we did talk about several days ago. Now we're starting to see the colder air move down from the mid-latitudes into where we live in the troposphere, all the way down from the stratosphere to the troposphere. And that is going to bring a lot of colder weather across the lower 48 during that March 11th through the 24th time frame. And you can see that looking at the GEFS ensemble temperatures during especially that March 12th time frame on average, it's going to be very cold up here across southwestern Canada, the west coast, and much of the center of the country as well, at least 5 to 10 degrees below average during that time frame. And the European guidance is actually a little bit more bullish on the colder air during that March 12th time frame on average, with temperatures even closing in on 15 degrees below average on this ensemble guidance. So that is something to watch as we get into that second and third weekend of March, and we'll be tracking it right here on Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. So looking here at the weather forecast recap, California rain and snow tonight into your Sunday morning. And then again, we're going to be seeing a next big storm take shape with a severe weather outbreak and a northeast snowstorm this weekend and into early next week. And then that active weather pattern does persist with more rain and snow chances into that first and even second weeks into March. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. If you guys liked the video, press the thumbs up down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Saturday, everybody, a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.